securing this $5 million SAFER grant for the City of Elizabeth to hire additional firemen, 36 firemen to be exact, 21 of which are here and will start work here today. I also want to thank the elected officials that are here, freeholders Betty Jane Kowalski, freeholders Chris Hudak, Bruce Bergen, Vanell Wright, members of our City Council, Councilman Carlos Torres, Patricia Perkins-Augusti, Councilman Kevin Canary, members of our Board of Education, Stan Neron, Dan Nina, our Sheriff Joe Cryan, and numerous department directors that are here as well. I know the Union County Prosecutor's Office may still be here. FMBA President Ed Donnelly and Vice President Rich Mapolsky. Thank them for the support of the FMBA. The City of Elizabeth was awarded a SAFER grant with more than $5 million in funding, hired 36 firefighters, 21 of those recruits are here today, and with the events that have occurred in the last 24 hours, Homeland Security funding is more important than ever. Securing our residents and ensuring the health and safety of our first responders is extremely important. Firefighters and police officers go to work, they do not know what they will encounter, as evident in our city over the last 16 hours. More firefighters will help improve the safety of our department, their ability to provide more effective service for our community. And you know, this could not have been possible, this grant, without the help of our congressional delegation. And I'd like to introduce them for a few words. First, I'd like to introduce our senior senator. When we were looking for a grant years ago for housing in a Hope 6 project, whether it be that $100 million grant, Senator Menendez, then the Congressman, was instrumental. Whether we're looking for a police grant under the Bill Clinton Crime Initiative, then Congressman Menendez was efficient and effective in helping us get that grant. And today, he's been extremely helpful in getting us this $5 million grant. The senior senator from New Jersey, Senator Bob Menendez.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me congratulate the mayor and the fire chief and the members of the department. As I always say, these are competitive grants across the country, and the competition is fierce, overwhelming, billions of dollars sought for millions of dollars available. So this $5 million grant, SAFER grant, to the Elizabeth Fire Department, putting 36 firefighters to work after a depletion of firefighters because of retirements and whatnot, is a commitment by the federal government, matched by the municipality, to continue to protect our citizens. Now, I know that many of you are here for a different reason, but let me just say, for many times, those of you who have covered these events, I have made it a significant point to say that on that fateful day on September 11th, we learned that it was local police, firefighters, and emergency management that were the first responders on that fateful day. And it is true today, a decade and a half after that September 11th day, when there is a new challenge, that it is local police and public safety personnel that is responding to the incidents that have taken place in our state and across the river. So while we think of the federal government as a responsive entity, and certainly in investigatory ways they are, in the first instance, whether it's that bomb going off in Seaside Park, or whether it is the bomb that went off in Elizabeth because it was detonated appropriately by the authorities as they were trying to disarm it, but the mere fact that that risk, who came first? It was the Elizabeth Police Department in this community, it's the Elizabeth Fire Department in Seaside Park, it was the local police and first responders. So in a post-September 11th world, in addition to what Elizabeth needs to do every day, this town, this city, has part of Newark International Airport. It has part of the megaport of the East Coast, the Port of Elizabeth and Newark. It has tremendous chemical coastal issues, which is why the FBI has determined that this region is the most dangerous 2 miles in America. It has a major hospital, major universities, all in this community. And so the mutual aid responsibility that the Elizabeth Fire Department has taken on is incredibly important. So in the midst of the latest news, this is a reminder to all of us as we advocate in Washington, Senator Booker, Congressman Sires, and I, that have been advocating for heightened funds for both police, the cops grants, and the fire safety grants to be able to have our communities be prepared for any eventuality. And in this new world that we live in since September 11th, any eventuality is potential to happen at any given time. I want to just take a moment to salute all of the law enforcement officials whose coordination I introduced the September 11th Commission's report into law when I was a member of the House of Representatives. What we saw unfold over the last 2 days is what we envisioned, the sharing of intelligence and information across all different entities of law enforcement, federal, state, and local. And the perfection of that and the constant effort towards that, I think, has led to the opportunities to unfold who in fact was involved, what in fact took place, whether there are others, and there may be, and ultimately the depth and scope of why these actors acted in such a way that created, in my view, clearly an act of terrorism, whether it's domestic, whether it's inspired, whether it's coordinated, but at the end of the day, when you plant a bomb anywhere, it's an act of terrorism. So I want to salute all of the local officials, including here in Elizabeth, as well as the federal partners, for moving so quickly. This is perfectly an example of why we need fire and safety and public safety assistance to communities like Elizabeth, and why those September 11th recommendations for intelligence sharing, which used to be coordinated by the individual agency instead of shared, makes such a difference in our collective security.
Thank you very much, Senator. Our next speaker I worked very closely with when he was the mayor of Newark. He knows how important it is in order to get grants to maintain the hiring of firemen in their city. Mayor Booker was extremely an effective leader of his community, and now he's the junior senator from the state of New Jersey, who is extremely helpful in getting this grant. Senator Cory Booker.
Thank you very much. First and foremost, number one, I want to just thank the mayor and his team. I mean this with an intimate knowledge. I've been a mayor myself. Mayor Bollwage is one of the best mayors, not in New Jersey, but in the United States of America. And his team put together such an extraordinary application that it made it easy, so much easier for Senator Menendez, myself, and Congressman Sires to advocate and help to win this grant. Number two, I just want to bring attention to the men behind me. I say men with the caveat that I'm hoping with this new class we can get a woman or two. Okay, good. But the men that are standing behind me, that are in uniform, I say this, they are amongst the greatest American heroes we have. As Senator Menendez said so clearly, when a crisis happens in our country, whether it be a natural disaster like Sandy, or a terrorist act, or unfortunate fires with new chemicals that pose new hazards and new dangers, these are the men that respond without hesitation, equivocation. They go into a dangerous situation to protect lives, to protect property, and to secure the homeland. These are the heroes that we are delivering for today, to make sure that they have the manpower and woman power necessary to get the job done. Finally, I want to introduce an ally, a friend, somebody who when I was a mayor, I relied on so much. Somebody who stands incredibly tall, not just because of his height and stature, but because of the service he renders. I want to bring my friend, Congressman Sires, to the microphone.
Thank you, Senator. You have here three former mayors, plus Mayor Bollwage. We know firsthand how important these grants are to the community. So when we get an application notice, we go to work on it right away, because we know what it means for a community to have 36 new firemen. We know what it means to the mayor to say, I'm going to be able to get a full group of firemen so we can defend this community. Unfortunately today, I was going to say it's a great day for Elizabeth. We had an incident in Elizabeth that showed that it can change in an instance. I was mayor of West New York when 9/11 happened. I remember the chaos. I remember going down to the ferry. I remember the ferry not going into the city, but coming back from the city. But we had just about every community sent people trying to get into New York, the tunnel was closed. What's happened since then is that we have made so much better coordination between the communities. And as a result of what we have today, we already caught one of the individuals. So in 15 years, we have come a long way. And just to give you an example, when the bomb went off down the shore, metropolitan area was notified immediately that we had something happen in New Jersey. So I want to congratulate all the people that keep us safe. And I certainly want to congratulate the mayor on a great job. And certainly 36 new firemen for Elizabeth, not just for Elizabeth, it's for all those communities that are around Elizabeth that they respond with this. And I want to certainly commend my senators. You know, this is a team effort. And believe me when I tell you, sitting in a place in Washington, I look at our two senators, and I am happy to say we have two of the best senators in this country. So I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Congressman. I appreciate all the work that Congressman Sires did on this grant as well. I also want to thank Susan McCune and my staff who wrote the grant. All four. I want to recognize Mike Guarino and Steve McConnell, the president of the FMBA here in the Superior Offices. Thank you. And now we'll open the floor to any questions. If you would like your question addressed to a senator or congressman, gladly throw it out there. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, just in a general sense, understanding that the people who do these acts, like this guy this morning and over the weekend, can come from anywhere, give me a little sense of what goes through your mind, realizing that this is one of your own, this is one of your citizens involved in this who would attempt to claim lives in this kind of way.
You know, all of us are mayors, the three members in the federal government and I, and we spend every day trying to make life better for the citizens of our community and enhancing their availability to grow and mature. And here, when someone who lives among you tries to take away the sanctity of human life, it becomes really difficult not only on behalf of the government, but on behalf of all of the citizens of our community. We just have to work harder in making sure that people in our city understand that we're going to move forward. The train stations are open, the schools are open, the business communities are open, and I hope everybody that does things on a Monday in September continues to do what they would normally do on any Monday in September.
The whole country's looking at this town right now because of the incidents. What's it been like in town? Give people a sense of what the last 24 hours have been like.
You know, the city of Elizabeth has gone through a difficult time over the last few hours, but it's because of the responsibility of law enforcement, the FBI, the prosecutor's office, the state police, the sheriff's office, where we quickly apprehended this man in Linden. And after the two senators and the congressman and I and Al Paella and the county manager were briefed by the FBI, the investigation continues. Mr. Gallagher gave us a briefing that talks about how they're moving forward, but also talks about it as really early in the investigation to see if there's anyone else involved. The 5 gentlemen that were taken into custody at the Verrazano Bridge as of this time have not been charged with anything. There's still a questioning going on. Whether they will be charged or not, we were informed that's the responsibility of the NYPD and the New York FBI office. And if they are charged, we will be informed. There's a belief that the investigation is continuing and ongoing, and whether there are more suspects at hand or to be discovered remains part of the investigation. Sorry? As of this time, no. The family. The special agent still here?
Yeah.
Special Agent Gallagher, do you want to answer any questions, or would you rather me keep doing it? Come on over here, Special Agent. Special Agent Tim Gallagher, in charge of the Newark Field Office here in the state of New Jersey. Special Agent.
Thank you, Congressman. On Saturday morning, as you all know, there was an explosion in a road race in Cincinnati Heights, New Jersey. Since then, law enforcement at the federal level, the local level, the state level has worked tirelessly around the clock to develop leads in this case. Since that time, we developed information which led us to focus on an individual, Mr. Rahami, Rahami. He was our focal point based upon evidence developed by the New York GTTF as well as the GTTF in the state of New Jersey. As we'll get into in a few minutes here, there was a confrontation earlier today, which Prosecutor Parker will get into. I stress that this is very early in a very complicated investigation of the FBI and the prosecutor's office, as well as the Liberty Police, and all of our partners continue to work to try and tie any associations to this individual to bring them into justice. I'd like to turn it over to Prosecutor Parker.
I'd like to introduce Grace Clark, the Union County Prosecutor.
Good afternoon. I just wanted to give some information on our very preliminary investigation. At around 10:45 this morning, 2 Linden police officers confronted Rahami in Linden on East Elizabeth Street. They encountered him outside a local bar, and there was an exchange of gunfire, and he was then taken to custody. 2 of the officers that were in exchange with him ultimately are not critical in terms of injuries. They did exchange gunfire. 1 officer was struck in the abdomen, but into his bulletproof vest. The other had some glass that struck his forehead, but not into his skull. So we're really grateful that the Linden police officers who confronted Rahami are not in critical condition at all. My understanding is that the suspect is currently undergoing surgery, but unfortunately I don't have any further details on his condition. Thank you very much.
Can you say where he was shot at all? Rahami.
I'm sorry, yes, he was shot. My understanding is that he was shot at least in the leg, but I don't have any further details on that.
He was actually asleep in a form of bizarre scenario. He was actually, elaborate a little bit on this, he was actually asleep in sort of the vestibule of this bar with all this going on around him and so forth. Can you elaborate a little bit on how they came to call this location for him?
I can't elaborate further on the details. I just know that they had some information that he'd be in the area, and they confronted him. Unfortunately, that's under investigation at this point.
There was litigation with the family and what the city knew about family was he on the radar of law enforcement?
I can't really discuss that at this time.
The suspect was not on the radar of local law enforcement, but the fried chicken place that they owned, the family owned, we had some code enforcement problems and noise complaints. When they opened in 2002, they ran a business for 24 hours. Neighborhood complaints regarding a congregation of people as well as noise sought the city council in 2009 in order to pass an ordinance closing that restaurant at 10 o'clock in the evening. The police had to enforce that ordinance, at which time the suspect's father and 2 brothers took the city of Elizabeth to court, and in October of 2012, the courts ruled in the city's favor that we were capable of closing that facility at 10 o'clock in the evening as a quality of life issue. I can tell you the restaurant's closed. Regarding the people who live here, the town is extremely safe. The businesses are open, the trains are running, the schools are open. People need to continue and move on with their daily lives.
Well, here's my view. When I say terrorism, anyone who floats a bomb in any place that can harm individuals, to me that's an act of terrorism. Now, whether that terrorism is self-inspired, whether that terrorism is coordinated with others, remains to be seen. But I think that anyone who takes a bomb and ultimately puts it in a public place. I think it doesn't take rocket scientists to understand you were looking to do harm to others for whatever your purpose were. To me, that's an essence of terrorism now. We think of terrorism only as Al-Qaeda or ISIS and whatnot, but to me, this in and of itself is an act of terrorism. We'll find out if the investigation continues, whether it's coordinated, inspired, led with others, how it developed, whether the person developed any views or tendencies inspired by the international terror groups. But in and of itself, from my perspective, it's an act of terrorism.
Is this the new, Senator, is this the new normal?
Bueno, simplemente, bueno, primero estamos aquí hoy para darle $5 millones a la ciudad de Elizabeth con el propósito de emplear 36 bomberos nuevos y vemos en estos últimos días la importancia que es la policía y los bomberos locales que actualmente responden cuando hay una emergencia. Y por eso he dicho por mucho tiempo con el senador Booker y el congresista Sires que actualmente estos fondos que nosotros abogamos son muy importantes y ahora vemos estos incidentes donde es la policía local, los bomberos locales que están respondiendo. Ahora, con referencia a este incidente, mi opinión personal, como alguien que ha abogado en estos temas, es que la actuación de cualquier persona, poner una bomba en un lugar público con el propósito de dañar o matar a otra persona, así mismo, eso esencialmente es un acto de terrorismo. Aunque no sabemos si es un acto de terrorismo inspirado por otro grupo internacional, no sabemos si fue coordinado con otros. Eso la investigación se va a saber los días adelante. Pero para mí, cualquier acto de una persona, tomar una bomba, como poner en un lugar para tomar vida de otro, es un acto de terrorismo.
¿Se puede garantizar la seguridad de los ciudadanos?
El alcalde Bollwage ha hecho muy claro que todos los esfuerzos se han llevado para inspeccionar los vecindarios, han inspeccionado todos los lugares públicos hasta este momento para asegurar que no hay otras bombas, otras amenazas a los ciudadanos. Las escuelas están abiertas, la ciudad está operando, los negocios están abiertos, los ferrocarriles están abiertos, en fin, estamos en nuestra vida. Y eso es lo que tenemos que hacer, porque el terrorismo quiere cohibir la manera en que nosotros vivimos. Y cuando ellos pueden hacer eso, cambian el día. Nosotros tenemos que continuar nuestra vida para asegurar que eso no es la realidad.
Senator Booker, is this the new normal with the idea of having to, every time you walk by a dumpster, this is low-tech stuff, this is not something that requires massive pre-planning, you got guys with pressure cookers and dumpsters and so forth. Is this kind of where we are nowadays?
I think everyone has to be diligent, and the saying that if you see something, say something is the new normal, and if people see something, they should clearly call law enforcement, like those two gentlemen who saw that backpack in the garbage can. After they saw what was in it, they went to law enforcement and were able to resolve this without any injuries to any personnel and capture the suspect. I've been with many of you since 10 o'clock last night. I'm not so sure there's any more questions we can answer at this time. We thank you for coming and celebrating with us the SAFER grant, and hopefully the FBI, state police, the Union County prosecutors, and law enforcement will continue the investigation and seeking a resolution to the issues that occurred over the last 24 hours. Thank you for being here.